Are you a business owner that could use just one more customer? Those empty tables, vacant appointments, idle employees, and expired merchandise are missed opportunities. What if there were a community that connects you to high-value and motivated customers, giving you a competitive edge in the marketplace and increasing your revenue? Introducing Partners One. You keep doing what you do best, taking care of your customers, and we'll do what we do best, sending you new customers to take care of. Call us today to find out how Partners One can work for your business.
Welcome to the Rocket Right Show, starring Hurricane Betsy Barnes and Dr. K. Solar. Two busy blondes with their fingers on the pulse of all things Louisiana. Events, health, leisure, entertainment, and more. It's the Rocket Right Show. And now, here's Betsy and Kay.
We are so glad that you could join us. We are celebrating all the things that we love in Louisiana, and we're going to start with Congressman Garret Graves. We are so glad that you could come back. You know, we're
great to join you again.
Yeah, a little Valentine's Day love, a little appreciation for our congressman.
Fantastic.
And for all the things that we love. And we also have a few good guests, some tasty treats, some good information from the Partners One studio here with Pelican Broadcasting. So we're going to have a good show, and so you kind of hang with us.
Yeah, absolutely. We have Laura Poche coming on because a lot of times you don't realize that you may not have your estate in order when things come up. Do you need a will? What kind of will? Do you need a trust? What kind of power of attorneys? I mean, sometimes you find you in these predicaments and you don't have the right thing set. And so we're going to talk about all of that. We have Dr. John Olson, who's with the Neuromedical Center, going to be talking about some partnerships and the things that they are doing with Mary Bird Perkins, Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Center. And then we're going to be talking about Rouge Creole and some of their Valentine's dinners, and we might even share some of this. You know, king cake, you know, we're conflicted with our holidays right now. Aren't you conflicted, Betsy? I mean, it's Mardi Gras, it's Valentine's. I mean, it's
we love you, we feed
which
you.
way do I dress? Do I dress Valentine or crazy Mardi Gras?
We don't even need reasons to celebrate or
I
eat.
know.
We just
Well,
do
this
it.
king cake is the strawberry Bavarian chocolate Bavarian cream that we talked about with Culinary Productions Baton Rouge last week, and I thought, you know, it just fits the mark for everything. You got your chocolate dipped strawberries, so it feels like a Valentine and Mardi Gras celebration. So we can't wait for you to try some.
Hey, like I said, we don't even need reasons to celebrate. We should just eat that for breakfast every day. That looks fantastic.
And, and we also have a little bubbly because we want to toast you and thank you for everything that you do.
All right.
Congratulations on your reelection.
All right.
Congratulations on all the things you're
Thank
doing
y'all.
in DC for us. We know it's
Thank
not
you.
always easy, and we know that it's especially hard when there is a transition or a change. So we want you to tell us a little bit about what's going on in DC to help us understand. It seems like we're shifting, and Louisiana may be suffering yet again through another challenge. So tell us what we need to know about what's happening with energy jobs and some of the things that are going on that we really need to know.
You know, Betsy, I'm actually going to take a quick step back. You know, you look at over the last several years all this fighting that's been happening in Congress. Under the Constitution, Congress has a role, and it's where people are represented. But because of the fighting, the role of Congress, the power that they have, it doesn't go away. It just doesn't get used there in Congress. And so what you've had, I think, more and more of over the last few decades has been that the administration, the White House, has taken more power, and they're signing more executive orders. And the courts have become more activist-type courts where they're legislating from the bench. And so I think that the people's voice has been diluted as a result of this. And so President Trump came in, he signed executive orders, and he was boosting the energy industry. Right now out of Louisiana, we're exporting liquefied natural gas to 36 countries. 36 countries from here, helping with our trade deficit, cleaner energy, really great thing, helping to create jobs here. And now with Biden, things are swinging wildly back in the other direction. And the thing that's so frustrating is he says that he's doing it for energy prices, doing it for emissions, doing it for cleaner energy and reliability. All of the things that he listed out or the opposite is going to happen. We're going to end up sending more jobs to China. We're going to be benefiting Russia's economy and Nigeria and Venezuela and Iran and Iraq. We're going to be buying solar panels. Right now, China, I think, manufactures somewhere around 80% of all the solar panels in the world. And in the U.S., it's single digits, low single digits. And so all these plans and policies, it just results in us shifting jobs. Energy prices, we are going to see energy prices go up. California, Massachusetts, and other states have tried these same things. Their electricity prices are double and triple of what we pay. And then lastly, on the emissions side, Betsy, if you care about the emissions, if that's something you're worried about, guess which country has reduced emissions more than any other country in the world? Not yesterday, not 1 month, over the last 15 years. Guess which country it is?
I'm thinking it's us.
It would be us. And then to take it even further, we've reduced emissions more than the next 12 emissions-reducing countries combined. So here you are. You're going to gut Louisiana's economy. You're going to gut many of these families. 50,000 energy jobs expected to be lost in Louisiana through next year. 50,000, one of the largest sectors of our economy. So it's not achieving any of the objectives they've said, and all it's doing is causing carnage. So it's really it's not based on science, it's not based upon facts or evidence, and it's going to have awful consequences for Louisiana and the nation.
It's kind of crazy. There's been a lot of things that haven't been based on science.
I'm
just saying.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Where's the facts? Where's the facts? They just need to back it up with facts, and it looks like the facts that you have is that by doing this, it's the opposite. The results will be the opposite. And for Louisiana, we can't afford to lose 50,000 more jobs. We just can't.
We can't. Could you imagine treating patients, practicing medicine without evidence or science or facts behind it? Crazy.
Yeah. We'd be back doing leeches and bloodletting. That would be bad. That would be. So when you say these different countries are combined, one of the things this week you spoke to the House and Senate Energy Committee, and you shared that, of all the countries, of all the ways that we're wasting money and resources, we're giving away our self-sufficiency. China, not that I'm against the Chinese at all, I'm not, but the China, for every 1 time or 1 part of this that we reduce emissions, they get to increase, quadruple the number of emissions. Why isn't everybody on the same playing field in the world if we're measuring emissions, or if we're measuring research or production, or quality of production, or life quality? Why aren't we all measured the same?
Betsy, you hit the nail on the head. You hear all these people talk about the Paris Climate Accords. Oh, we've got to get into the Paris Accords because Obama signed in, Trump took us out, now Biden's putting us back in. Well, under the Paris Climate Accords, for every 1 ton of emissions the United States has reduced, China's increased by 4. China's emissions are going up another 50% through 2035 under the Paris Accords. So these agreements actually result in China increasing emissions. And so look, if we're talking about global emissions and all of these things, and what's happening is under this agreement you can have a net increase in emissions, and only the United States and a handful of other countries are reducing it. That's not fair, that's not just, and most importantly, you're not even achieving the objectives of this Paris Accord to reduce emissions. You're increasing them. So you're exactly right. For every 1 ton we've reduced in the United States, they've increased by 4, and they're going to keep increasing.
And what do we get from that?
Wait, what ends up happening?
What do we get?
It's offshoring jobs, it's offshoring the economy and economic activity, it's increasing the trade deficit. Nothing makes sense, and that's why I'll say it again. The facts do not show that these policies actually make sense and achieve the very objectives, including reducing emissions, that President Biden is seeking.
The fact that a lot of the money we get for coastal restoration comes from offshore oil royalties. I want to make sure that people understand, if there's less money coming in from offshore, we cannot prevent some of the things that are happening, not just in coastal erosion, but in rebuilding. And so I was very surprised when I heard that's going to affect the way that we're able to rebuild our coastline and some of the economies that have been hurt through the hurricanes.
So 82% of coastal Louisiana is privately owned, and the majority of that is owned by energy companies. They are some of the best partners we have on our restoration projects. They donate access to land or even property in some cases to carry out these projects. In addition, for example, last year, $156 million in funding came to our coastal program through energy revenue sharing, $156 million in just 1 year. And so when you stop oil and gas production, you stop that revenue sharing, which then stops the coastal restoration projects, the flood control, the hurricane protection. And so this isn't just about losing the jobs and losing the economic activity and increasing cost of energy and increasing the trade deficit. There's some direct hits on Louisiana that on our coastal program and on our resiliency. And people say, oh, well, look, we're not spending that money, so we're going to be saving it now. No, because you can look over and over again what happens when you don't spend money being proactive in protecting communities. You spend much more in the aftermath. The 2016 flood that we've spent a lot of time talking about, we probably spent somewhere around $12 billion picking up the pieces after that one is one example.
Yeah. You shared another important fact, I thought, with the Obama administration having certain goals. I think it was 2030, 2035, we reduce emissions. And then somehow through, was it executive order through President Trump, it was met. That goal of emission reduction was met in 2019.
Yeah, so it's a great thing. Under the Obama administration, they had something called the Clean Power Plan. And they're reducing emissions. You were correct. It was reducing emissions by 35% off a 2005 baseline. So looking at 2005 emissions and saying, okay, from these, you're going to reduce them 35%. And he had a goal of doing that by 2030. President Trump came in, he said, look, we're not doing this. He rescinds the Clean Power Plan, yet even with it being rescinded, by 2019, 10, 11 years early, we actually achieved the targets that President Obama had set for 2030. And what it goes to show, and look, there's so many examples of this. When you let the markets perform, when you don't come in and choose technologies like solar or wind or geothermal, you just let the market do its thing, you end up outperforming than the alternative when government tries to come in and artificially distort markets or manipulate markets or choose technology winners and losers. So the answer, the evidence shows that by letting free market do its thing, you end up with better energy prices, you end up with more reliable energy, and you end up with actually lower emissions, as we've seen proven over and over again.
So how can people understand what they can do to support getting the message out that this is not, it should not be about politics. It should not be. This is really about policy that supports the American people being self-sufficient. I mean, am I misspeaking there? Because it seems to me that we need to be self-sufficient and not relying on other countries to make decisions for us. And we're just like giving our competition the keys to the, or giving them the playbook.
You're exactly right. In fact, since 1953, the U.S. has not been energy independent, and as a result of some of the efforts of the Trump administration, we actually hit, for a period in 2020, energy self-sufficiency, energy independence, where our exports and imports were in balance. In fact, for months, actually, we were exporting more than we were bringing in, so we were a net exporter of energy. I think the message to folks all around the United States is that we've got to demand that energy continues to be affordable. If you're selling products, if you're owner of a company, you base your strategies on the assets you have. We've got to develop our clean energy future on the assets and the strengths and the resources we have, not those of China, of Russia, of other countries, because all that does is play into their hands and advances their goals, not ours.
And our state is such a huge producer of oil, gas, and of processing. We are in the top 5 of each one of those. And so please, please, please do your research, use your Google. What are some of the ways people can find out about you? What you're backing up?
So we have a lot of information on our website, which is garretgraves.house.gov. It's GARRET, Graves, GRAVES. .house.gov. A lot of information on there. On the Republicans Climate Committee website in the House of Representatives, we have a lot of information, but people can call us, reach out to us on social media. Happy to provide information. The facts really speak for themselves.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being with us.
You bet.
So
Thank
important, so important. Find out more and hang with us, and we'll be right back with Laura Poche talking about how to take care of your estate.